Well, if you look up ahead, you'll see Gray Monk Winery. Gray Monk was founded over 40 years ago by George and Trudy Heiss, and they planted the first Pinot Gris vines in British Columbia at 50 degrees north. That makes this winery one of the coolest cool climate wineries in the world. You came to nearly the 50th parallel in Okanagan Center. There was no wineries here at the time, very few vineyards. Why did you choose this site?
It was actually Trudy's father.
My father
found it,
yes.
And he phoned us in Edmonton and said, "Look, this corner is for sale. It's a beautiful exposure and everything." And says, "Come on down and have a look at it."
And what was growing here at the time?
It was all orchard.
We felt the peaches were growing here, and they never froze out on this side of the hill, whereas in Winfield they did. And we felt that the lake was our moderating friend. Yeah. You know, and of course the view is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So.
George, you're the original importer of Pinot Gris into Canada. It's now the #1 selling or planted white variety in British Columbia. Why did you choose Pinot Gris back in 40 years ago?
I liked it in Austria.
You like the taste?
I like
flavor?
the flavor of the wine.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to grow it, but I had to learn that. But I certainly liked the wine.
Once you got the winery started, you actually chose the Pinot Gris, or the Austrian name, which is Gray Monk.
Gray Monk.
Yeah. The very first vintage, it's amazing to have a look at this bottle and this package, but tell us a bit how this wine was made. I'm pretty sure it's different than this vintage.
Very different. This one was actually made, it was our first vintage in our garage.
You're famous for Pinot Gris at Gray Monk, but you have many other varieties and big fans of them. What are some of the grapes that people just won't let you stop growing?
Siegerrebe, Ehrenfelser, Rotberger, Kerner.
Well, over the years you got some help from the Department of Agriculture in BC. What did they tell you about this site?
Well, they came and said they didn't think these varieties would grow here. We planted them, they grew here. Then about 3 years later, they came and copied some of our paperwork.
But they're so expressive of, I think, of British Columbia now. When you taste that style of wine, it reminds me right away, which I think is, that's necessary.
And of course, not putting whites in oak because they're so aromatic and that people can tell the difference.
Yes.
And with our cuisine on the coast in BC, the whites just do so well.
It's probably the best salmon wine you can get.
Yeah.
For our Pacific salmon.
Yeah, it's been a decade now since you've been making red wine in a big way, and it's been well accepted by your customers as well. Yeah. From the same sites here?
Most of it is from down south. We also have a vineyard in Kaliden, just south of Penticton, and one in Osoyoos.
And the Odyssey, the Odyssey project, it's also what is the notion of Odyssey?
Well, it's like what everybody else calls the family reserve or so.
Small lots.
Small lots, top tier.
Yeah.
And today production is roughly, it's about 60% white and 40% red, and some growing sparkling wine.
Yes. Yeah. It swings a little bit, but we've never been really following the trends that much because they always seem to come back to the same.
Gray Monk never following the trends, but always in business and always loved by their customers.